No one in the world is better at making money than Larry Fink and BlackRock. But you can make money when the price goes up, and you can make money when the price goes down. So does BlackRock want a cheap Bitcoin or an expensive Bitcoin? Do they want Bitcoin cheap so they can buy a whole bunch for them and their cronies? Or do they want Bitcoin to go up so they look like geniuses? This BlackRock ETF is going to potentially unlock billions, but what can we expect in the short term? Also, if we are approved this week, when is the ETF open for trading? If we get an approval on Wednesday, does that mean we could trade it on a Thursday, or do we have to wait weeks and months? And then we're going to say, what is the bull case scenario and the bear case scenario for a Bitcoin ETF? And I will learn how to spell forecast. It's time to discover crypto. All this talk about a Bitcoin ETF, but what exactly is an ETF, and what does an ETF do to an asset's price? We're going to look at gold for an example here. Gold, if you put $1,000 in and sell after it's risen 10%, how would that break down? Well, an ETF buys physical gold, just like these ETFs will hold actual Bitcoin. Each share will represent a proportional ownership of the Bitcoin, and then the price will fluctuate throughout the day based on supply and demand. So if you invest $1,000, and let's just say you have 10 shares, $100 a piece, and gold goes up 10%, your 10 shares initially worth 100 a piece would now be worth 110 a piece. So your 1,000 would then have a potential value of $1,100, representing $100 in profit. But that's also not factoring in everything. There's also things like transaction fees and others. So this is essentially with Bitcoin ETFs, where you see fluctuations in price, and then it should mirror the ETF prices. But what about the fees, everybody? We're hearing more and more about the ETF fees because we have a lot of businesses now trying to offer a Bitcoin ETF. You see Grayscale, Hashdex, Valkyrie, WisdomTree, Invesco, BlackRock, ARK, VanEck, Fidelity, Bitwise, and Franklin. These numbers right here represent different fees associated with these ETFs. BlackRock, a little amendment here, they will charge 0.3 for the first, I believe, 5 billion or 12 months, and then it will cut down to 0.2, making them have the lowest fee possible. But what do these fees mean, actually? We're going to get a little help from Elon Musk and ask Grok, well, how exactly does a ETF fee break down? Well, ETF fee, also known as the expense ratio, is the fee charged by the ETF provider to cover the cost of managing the fund. So an ETF with an expense ratio of 0.5%, if we look here, okay, that would give us right around a WisdomTree. A expense ratio of 0.5% would charge $5 for every $1,000 invested. That means if, let's just say, we have these billions that are potentially unlocked, BlackRock could be looking to make a fee off that. And we're seeing rumors of billions being unlocked by BlackRock here. Now, again, these are rumors, and we want to, credit it as such, but BlackRock might be on track to create history with $2 billion in inflows and spot Bitcoin ETF in a week. Now, if you're wondering, we're going to get into, does BlackRock want to pump or dump the price? Let me show you something right here. We're going to do a little bit of math here. $2 billion. Well, if they have $1 billion, as represented by all these zeros right here, and let's just say they have a fee of 0.3%, we would find that by multiplying by 0.003, and then you can see the number right here. Folks, that still gives them $300 million. $300 million, so they are definitely incentivized. BlackRock is incentivized for a lot of people to invest in this ETF. But do they want the price to go up, or do they want the price to go down? Well, I'll give you the answer here. They definitely want the price to go up, everybody. They want the price to go up. BlackRock would likely have a share in transaction fee. So, hey, they're going to make money if it goes up, if it goes down. The higher the underlying asset, though, higher the price, the higher that fee. Each time an investor buys or sells these shares, they will collect that small fee. But let's talk about the main way it will equate into revenue for BlackRock. It's all about AUM, the assets under management. The more investors pour their money into the ETF, the more they stand to gain from management fees. They attract significant interest, their revenue could grow exponentially. So we definitely are going to see an incentivized nature for this price to go up because they're going to make a percentage under the asset. So cheap Bitcoin means, well, cheap revenue, small revenue. Very expensive Bitcoin coming in at these prices relative to the future. Very lucrative fees for BlackRock. So BlackRock incentivized for the price to go up. But what can we expect in the short term? So we know they want Bitcoin's price to be high. Does that mean it's going to be high the very next day? Well, we've covered what happened with the gold ETF. We ended up seeing 2 days of green candles. What can we expect with this? We had an opportunity to talk to James Seifert on the channel right here. You can see he just posted 1 day ago. He is the Bloomberg ETF analyst here, ETF research analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence. And we had a great opportunity to ask all these hard-hitting questions. And then very simply, it isn't as long as you would expect. If you try to Google the answer, all right, well, what's the cost and time frame to launch? All right, well, now the time to market after launching, typically 100 to 130 days. It's going to be lower than that, folks. You look, you might even find more. I've seen several articles saying, oh, it's up to 6 months. Now, talk to James. This is from his mouth, everybody. It's looking more and more likely we're going to see weeks, not months, and very unlikely that we'll see days. Going back to gold, I looked at gold ETF as well. The first gold ETF launch took about half a year. But then within 6 months after that, the later gold ETFs, they were being proved within about 2-3 weeks. So we saw that get down to weeks as well. So I am expecting weeks afterwards. We are going to see some trading. So in the short term, not a whole lot of speculation. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some red candles within a week or two. I don't think we'll see it immediately. I think it's going to be too much hype to die down, too much hype to suppress. So if I had to throw out a number, I'm going to say, just over under about 5 green candles on the daily. But then after that, I do expect a little bit of a reversal. So we're not going to see any massive $2 billion buy orders in the coming hours or days afterwards. But in the coming weeks, we certainly might. That should tell you, what to expect in the short term and when the ETF is going to be open for trading. But what is the bull case price forecast? What is the bear case? So how high do I think it can go? And what's the lowest entry? Well, let me just share one more, headline here or one more paragraph from this story. BlackRock looking at a potential $2 billion in this right here. And it looks like BlackRock set to blow its competitors out of the water. BlackRock doesn't really lose, folks. And Larry Fink, he knows how to pick a winner. And it seems like he's picking Bitcoin as one of the main winners for 2024. We're going to look at the words from the head of digital asset research at Van Eck, Matthew Seigel. He was saying that BlackRock could likely create a new record for the largest flow of volume for the first day of week of trading for an ETF. Also, editor-in-chief for the block here said here, I heard from a well-placed source, more than $2 billion lined up in week 1. And new incremental flows from existing Bitcoin holders. We're adding 2 positions, but it cannot be vouched again, folks. These are rumors, we don't know. But let's go ahead and do some price predictions here. All right, folks, we're going to do a little fun TA here. We're going to see the upside and the downside. All right, first, this is a really, really great metric that someone discovered a long time ago. If you want to catch a cycle top, one of the best ways to catch a cycle top is to look at the previous run-up of the cycle beforehand. And I'm not going to say this is going to continue to play out, but it has played out in the past. You can see the run-up in 12 predicted the top in 17. And then similarly, for the run-up of that bull run, the run-up in 15-16 then predicted the top of 21 exactly. If we're going to just continue to run this out, we're going to see a little confluence here, so make sure you watch this. This is going to blow you away. If we do the similar thing here, we get a little range. Now, we don't know the exact top for Bitcoin, but I'm coming in as a September person, but a lot of people think December. So now we're going to see what is Bitcoin's upside, what is the high side for my price prediction. And if you look right here, all right, we got to get to the 3rd week in December, which is right here, the 22nd, and look at that price, folks, right around a $350,000 Bitcoin. But folks, this is actually going to blow you away. I see a little confluence. If we get this top right here on the logarithmic chart, we run that out. Wow, look how perfectly that aligns up. Perfectly, just kind of touches down and hitting right in that range. Almost a perfect confluence coming in here, same price range. Now, a perfect alignment happening right around in December here. December 22nd, you can just see it perfectly. All right, so that gives us the high range. We got about 350. Well, what about the low range? Okay, so, it can't all be moon math here. Well, my moon math for my bear math comes in a little bit scary, everybody. It's looking at the previous cycle tops. This is going to be my low range for Bitcoin. So you see here, we had a range right around above $1,000. And then to the next cycle top, close to a 20x, closer to a 17x here. And it went close to 20K. So it went from close to a little over $1,000 to $20,000. Let's just say we'll round down, say 15x. And then after that, it went from 20,000 to right under 70,000. So that was a 3.5x. Okay, so now we went from like a 15x to a 3.5x. And then that gives me the range on the low end. I don't think Bitcoin will only go this high. I think it will I think it will exceed this. In fact, I think it can hit this in 2024. What if Bitcoin only does a 1.5x from $69,000? I did the math right here. 69K times 1.5x. It's only going to be a $103,000 Bitcoin. So for my high range, I got 350. For the low range, coming in at $100,000 Bitcoin. You can also, come in a little bit even lower, say 95, because of the sell pressure at 100. But to me, that feels like FUD when I see headlines like this, potential $2 billion in inflows. So let me know, what is your Bitcoin ETF price prediction? And what do you think BlackRock's going to do with Bitcoin? How high will they let this thing go? I'm DZ. We'll see you at the top.